Ay, mija. Uf. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, and welcome to tonight's City Council meeting, Monday, January 6, 2025. At this time, I'm going to ask City Clerk Jonathan Ayala to do the roll call, please.
President Dominguez.
Present.
President Pro Tem Peck.
Present.
Councilor Dice.
Present.
Councilor Hart.
Present.
Councilor Rosario.
Present.
You have 5 present.
Thank you, sir. At this time, I want to welcome everyone that's here at City Chamber. Thank you for coming. Each of you want to also recognize those that are on YouTube watching our live transmission. Thank you. Welcome to our Administrative Assistant, Jenny Starts, Director McBride, Attorney Landrigan, Mayor Passero. Happy New Year, everyone. Hopefully this year's going to be better than last year. No smiles? All right. I believe it's going to be. All right. So with that, we're going to begin with our pray and pledge, and that's you, sir. President Pro Tem Akil Peck.
Thank you, President Dominguez. If we can all stand, please. In this short prayer, I'm taking it from Psalms 46, verse 1. God is a refuge and strength, and always ready to help us in times of trouble. Father God, please fill us with your peace, calm the storms around us, and remind us all that you are in control. Heavenly Father, I surrender all to you. In Jesus' name, I pray, amen. I pray this prayer for all those who have lost a loved one this year, and our hearts go out to those who are lost loved ones in Louisiana, as I have distant family relatives that live in that area, and just wanted to just pray for all those who have lost a loved one already this year. And also, President Dominguez, if I can, before I do the prayer and pledge, I would like to have a moment of silence for former President Jimmy Carter. Thank you. Now for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Prometo lealtad a la bandera de los Estados Unidos de América, a la república que representa una nación ante Dios, indivisible, con libertad y justicia para todos.
Amen.
All right. Okay, at this time, we want to welcome our illustrious team, Director Reyes and Tom Bomber, with a presentation on the 43 Hempstead Street Cleanup Remedial Action Plan. You have the mic, sir.
Thank you, council members, and I'd like to deformalize a presentation more to an update, and this is for council members to kind of see where we're at. There's a lot of excitement around the work that's being done at the Hempstead neighborhood. First and foremost, let's salute the folks that actually live in that neighborhood, in the Freedom Trail neighborhood, the folks that have been lobbying and pushing for funding for change. This has been a big kind of an environmental justice project for everyone, and we're excited about continuously moving forward. As you know, this project is also a complex project with a history that, as I don't know if you have it on your desk, Tom Barmby put a timeline, a history that goes back to the 1800s in regards to use, and that's kind of been something that we've had to deal with on many parcels and projects throughout the city. History does come back and kind of rear its ugly face and give us some difficulty in regards to cleaning up sites, and this site is no exception. So as we fast forward through kind of pre and post COVID, time frame. As we know, the Shiloh sold this property to the city of New London with help through L&M. From there, RCDA took ownership of the project to be essentially to be able to get the grants and the federal grants required. Tom Bombria has been kind of really the person behind the machine here and working and ensuring that this project moves forward, has secured several grants both at the state and federal levels. We are here tonight to, you know, to offer and share that steps are being made to get closer and closer to a finished project. So right now, this public notice, this, as to say, public presentation is part and is a formal requirement of the EPA. This is where we got our major funding for the cleanup grant. And while the remedial action plan is required by the state, obviously it all works in kind of cohesion. The public notice is part of what we call an ABCA remedial action plan. And if not familiar with a remedial action plan, that's essentially, we did testing on the site. The engineers kind of getting a good understanding of how do we clean this up, what are the steps, what needs to happen, and that plan is put together for review. So currently our environmental partner, or the LEP or the engineers, I think it's VHB, yep, VHB, who's our consultant, has created the remedial action plan. They feel confident. They have put bids, they've given us some estimates and some bids together to kind of give us an idea of total cleanup for the project. After the review and the acceptance of the remedial action plan by the state, DEEP, which is a requirement, we are excited to finally put some bid and specifications to go out to bid early this year. So this, in our minds, we're looking at as a 2025 project. Finally, we do have a few funding obstacles to overcome. Nothing that's not, you know, unachievable, but we do have some additional funding obstacles to get to the finish line, but we feel very confident in doing so. Mr. Bombria has done a really good job also in your backup to kind of summarize in kind of in a memo as part of the backup. So anything that was mentioned this evening, you do have that with a little bit more details in regards to the different funding mechanisms to achieve a finished product for this neighborhood. So with that, I'm going to open the floor and see if there's any additional questions or comments regarding this project.
Yep. I thank you, Director Reyes. I mean, all the information is here. I think you covered it thoroughly, but if anyone of the councilors has questions that cannot be answered, or you want to have, or you have a comment, you're more than welcome to go ahead and do so. Let's call on President Pro Tem Kilpack.
Thank you, President Dominguez. Just one question for Director Reyes. So I know that the mayor has been tirelessly working with the community and the Hempstead House community, engaging with them as far as this whole project. But do you have like some type of a timeline so that people can hear it, to know exactly, because it's going to happen. Like the mayor said, I think at the last meeting, it takes time because it was, you know, there was remediation that had to be done, a lot of, you know, work before you can actually go in and start actually doing anything. But do you have what of a timeline that people can hear and that may put people to ease?
Sure. So the best that I can give you, because for the most part, when state-funded and federally funded projects have a time course, they go through its own course. As much as we try to stay within, their review process really dictates how quickly this, you know, available funding really dictates. But I can tell you the next steps is that hopefully that will suffice. And we are looking, as mentioned, we are looking to prepare the bid specifications. The state really has to, the first step is for them to approve the action plan, how we're gonna clean this up. Once the state actually approves that kind of, that plan, the action item, we're on the go. We can actually go out to the market and say, hey, this is what we want to do, and actually get bids and then start the actual project. So right now, Mr. Bombria has that going out to bid sometime in February. So we're not too far off. In a couple months now, we should have bid specifications completed. Those take a few months to get through the city. So I would say best case scenario, we'll probably start this project if we have funding in hand, probably late summer, early fall. Yep, of this year, correct.
So if I could add something to
Now,
that,
you got your mic on? You turned on the mic?
I do, Mr. President. So Felix, I'm not sure I told you, but I printed out, Tom Bombria, in front of you is the timeline for this particular piece of property that Mr. Bombria has put together. It goes back to 1884. But if you fast forward to the modern era, there was an unsuccessful attempt in 2018 to seek the government funding necessary to begin the cleanup of this property, and we were unsuccessful. So this particular round, this latest attempt at cleaning up this property and putting it back to use in the neighborhood began in 2020. But what this particular timeline lays out for you is how diligent our efforts have been. I mean, it seems like 4 years, but you can see where the 4 years has been expended in all of these, trying to overcome all of these regulatory hurdles. And we've been at it diligently, and we're finally have the goal line in sight, but you could see why we'd be nervous about promising you when the work's actually gonna start. The good news is, so far the city's investment has been that $123,000 match, and we're hoping to get to the finish line without much more of a taxpayer contribution. So that's just what I wanted to add. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Councilor Hart?
I was just curious what happened between 1942 and 1988. I think everything is everything else about the program is great.
It's like most neighborhoods in New London are old. They get reinvented many times over and over again. And that's what happens. I think the biggest change was when Shiloh purchased the property and the existing buildings were demolished. And then once the environmental was done, that was a huge halt. I think everybody remembers that in history. I think everybody remembers that kind of front page article where, a lot of unknowns were finally realized, and the challenges of that site were presented. And we've kind of been on hold ever since then. And we're talking 1998, so, I mean, a long time ago. So, a lot of patience from the neighborhood. So I give them a lot of credit for sticking there, sticking with it.
All right, thank you, Director Reyes. All right, and thank you, Mr. Bombria. All right, with that, we're going to move on. Okay. There are no public hearings, minutes of a previous meeting, so I need a motion to approve the special meeting of December 16, 2024 minutes.
So moved.
All right.
Second.
All right, it's been seconded. Okay, with that, are there any omissions, additions, abstentions? Seeing none, we'll vote. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say nay. Okay, the motion carries. Now I need a motion to approve the regular meeting minutes of December 16, 2024.
So moved.
Okay.
Second.
All right, it's been seconded. All right, with that, are there any abstentions, omissions, or additions? Seeing none, we'll vote. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. All those opposed, say nay. Okay, the motion carries. All right, we'll come to public comment. At this time, just the logistics. You have 3 minutes. When you come up, make sure that the light in the mic there is green. When you begin speaking, you'll be allocated 3 minutes. When you have a minute left, City Clerk Jonathan Ayala will motion, let you know. He'll say a minute left. From there on, we want you to be more conscientious about closing your comments. With that said, the first speaker is William Kimball. And make sure, please, as usual, speak right into the mic and state your full name and address. For the record, this is a public record.
Good evening, everybody. My name is William Kimball, 21 Orchard Street, and I came to you guys last month to talk about the reckless driving across our city. I'm pleased to report that a couple of weeks after our meeting, I noticed an increased police presence on our most dangerous avenues. People are being pulled over and given warnings or citations. And I personally noticed less bad driving. And I felt that you should all know that. I don't know how that came about, but it's what I asked for. And it's working. There could be more done, but it's a start from very little being done. And while I have the mic, I'd like everybody in this room to consider the difference it makes when we have a responsive city government. All right? The people in New London deserve to have a government that's sensitive to the changing needs of the city. And I realize that everyone in this room, the mayor, the city council, they're very busy with long-term plans. They're very busy with their agendas. But you also live in this city, and you hear what people are saying. And failing that, when someone comes to you with an issue, obviously you have to verify it first, but the public deserves a response. They deserve a response that's accountable, one they can see, and not responses like, thank you for bringing the problem to my attention, we're doing all we can. All right? That's not what I got last time I came, but I did see a response this time. And the difference is night and day. Like I said, it's difficult. You know, it's a little frustrating to have a 30-year-old veteran in charge of our police force that's very aware of the dangers of traffic safety to take so long in responding. But things happen. Things slip through the crack. I understand that. But when I come here and I tell you about a problem, or anyone else, then we should see a response. And I think if you want to see higher confidence in our government, which I also think is low considering our voter turnout, consider getting ahead of these problems with the multiple channels that you have with the public. Last summer, if the mayor or anyone had made a public statement, the chief of police on social media or as a PSA or as a press conference said, we're noticing a big problem on our streets with driving, and this is what we're going to do about it, you wouldn't have seen me at all. So once again, thank you all for listening to me last month and this month, and hopefully our streets will continue to get safer in the future. Thank you very much.
Our next speaker is Lydia. Lydia.
Hello. Good evening. My name is Lydia Blaisdell Brunner. I'm here as part of the Freedom Trail Neighborhood Association. I'm not speaking for them, I'm just part of it. And I currently reside at 99 Blinman. I used to live at 20 Home Street, right around the corner from the park. Mostly, I just wanted to say that the Freedom Trail neighborhood is really looking forward to hear directly from VHB, our LEPs on the project. And they're gonna formally present and explain the full ABCA, which I don't know if you guys took a look, it's 73 pages. It's very hard to read. Because there are some decisions about how we're gonna remediate the park that are gonna be made that are really important, and it's really important that the neighborhood that has got this project so far remains involved. I also wanted to bring, I can pass these around, concept drawings of the park that the neighborhood put together a couple years ago, and just make sure that the end use of the site as a public park for all ages is kept in mind. One of the big questions we had reviewing the ABCA is if putting an environmental use restriction on the site would affect any of these plans, if the green lawn would mean we couldn't have a pavilion. We just want to know more about those questions. I would also say any counselors looking for additional context, the 2021 assessment report for the property has even more detail than the current one on past uses of the site and the source of the contaminants. The big takeaway is that there's polluted fill on the site going down 4 feet. We would also love to invite any city council members and the mayor and whoever would like to come to the neighborhood session with VHB and to meet some of the neighborhood kids who are gonna get to use this park. That's gonna be next Monday, January 13th at the public library at 5:30. A big thank you to Tom for setting up a representative from VHB to come to that meeting. And then I just wanted to ask that if there's any way that it's possible that documents and updates and schedule updates about the park could be made available to the neighborhood in a digital format. I know that right now you can physically walk to City Hall and access the physical repository, but very few residents, and particular in the Freedom Trail neighborhood, as in
1
most
minute.
of New London, are not able to physically visit City Hall during office hours. The files are just PDFs, so it would be awesome if they could just be linked on the appropriate page of the city's website. And thank you, Felix, for the timeline. That's the first we've heard of it, and we are excited to hear. And thanks to everyone, to the mayor, to Tom and Felix for all their work on this important project. And shout out to the Freedom Trail neighborhood members watching on their laptops. Thank you, guys.
All right, thank you. Lydia was our last speaker of the evening. Thank you. At this time, I am going to go into petitions. There are no petitions. In now response to public comment. All right, I'm going to start over on this side.
Good evening. Thank you, President Dominguez. Thank you for Mr. Kimbo to come out and Linda. Just for the first question or you concern, Mr. Kimbo, we in City Council have we reserve the right to respond. Choose it or not, respond back to you, because sometimes we got statements and things that are sensitive. We always want to respond back things to everybody in the right way. We don't want to, cause any problems, but we reserve the right to answer or not. This is one of the reasons why sometimes we don't answer. So for the record, because he just left, I just want to remind him we got the right to reserve to answer or not. Thank you so much.
Let's go to Councilor Hart.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just want to wish a happy and healthy 2025 to everybody at the top of the meeting. I want to thank Keith and Lydia for coming out and speaking. And in the spirit of credit where credit's due, I think it's great to see more open space. These are wonderful projects to see moving forward, and I appreciate the administration's diligence on it. If there is a way to make a little info page with those documents that Lydia asked for, I think that would be a great thing for people to find on our city website. And thank you very much. Everyone, drive safe out there.
Welcome. Councilor Dice.
Excuse me. Thank you, President. First of all, for those who are celebrating Three Kings Day, I just want to acknowledge that and say, just want to do that first. And then just want to reiterate, my understanding, the meeting is going to be January 13th at 5:30 at the Public Library of New London. And I appreciate the invite. Just in that community, I know that My other hat that I wear, the Drop and Learning Center utilized the Hempstead House, and I have a lot of families in that area, so I'm looking forward to the next step, and want to say thank you to Director Reyes and Director Bonbon for taking time to give us this timeline. And I just want to reiterate that I would love if we could have a link on the website to make it easy to navigate to get the information that's needed. And I yield the floor, and thank you.
Okay. President Pro Tem, okay.
Thank you, President Dominguez. I just want to also wish everybody a Happy New Year and a Happy Three Kings Day. I know it's cold outside. We got a little bit of taste of snow. Luckily, the kids did not have to go to school here in New London, so
Yeah.
that's a good thing that we finally have Three Kings Day off. That's good. So I just wanted to address Mr. Kimball. It's always nice to see you, sir. Thank you for coming out and voicing your opinion. I know when you had an opinion about the Jennings School situation, I met with you and I did contact and reach out to you several times. You know, I think that the police department is just busy, and trying to get information out to everybody is a hard thing to do in the city because there's so many different avenues to get information. Some people are on social media, some people aren't. But thank you for that suggestion. And thank you for coming out. And to the Hempstead Street community or group, thank you for coming here. And you know, I would like to get a little more information about that upcoming event that's at the library. If you can email it to us so that we can remind it and have it, so we can add it to our calendars to come out. But yeah, I know that the mayor and everyone has been working very hard with getting us to the finish line of completion of that park. And I know once it's done, it'll be very nice. I walked with your community a couple of times, I think about 3 or 4 times over the last couple of years, and heard some of the concerns. And I'm just happy that we're finally seeing some movement as far as with that parcel of land. So, you know, you heard it straight from the professionals that it just takes time. We just have to be patient, but it will get done. So, thank you.
All right, with that, thank you. Just not to sound redundant, but again, thank you, Lydia, for coming out, for sharing, braving this cold weather and coming out, and also for letting us know about the invitation that's coming. Hopefully, I'll be able to make it. I look forward to meeting everyone there and also the kids that are going to be enjoying that park for many years to come. Mr. Campbell, thank you for always coming up, and whether it's cold, hot, whatever the weather is, and you show up and you speak recently, so thank you. And I'm glad that you saw some results. And Mr. Bombria and Felix and the mayor and everyone else that's been part of this council throughout this whole journey for 43 Hempstead Park, it's happening. So I'm looking forward to it, and it's something that's going to be a park for all of us New London residents to enjoy, and families for generations to come. So that's a good news on that. And Happy New Year to everyone. Maybe next year we could get the city part of this and we can have it off too. All right, so with that, we will continue with reports and communications. First, Jaden Alexis is absent this evening, so we just want to acknowledge that. I know he's a student, and he's our city council student liaison. Hopefully, we'll see him on our next meeting. And with that, we'll go to the Director of Law, Attorney Landrigan. Any questions about any situations or anything that you have that you want to ask our city attorney at this time? Looking to my left and right, seeing none, we will move on. Okay, thank you. With that, no council committee reports. And last but not least, Mayor's Office Communications. Mayor Pastor, good evening. The floor is yours, sir.
Good evening, Mr. President, members of council. Happy New Year. I hope everybody had a relaxing time off. I'm a bit spoiled because the email's been slow for a couple of weeks, but they made up for it today.
can we get your mic up a little bit? Because I can't hear you on this side.
How's this? How's this? I'll put it right inside my mouth. How's that? Okay. Well, anyway, I have the unfortunate duty of notifying the community of the passing yesterday evening of Karen Paul. As we all know, Karen has been a fixture in these chambers for many, many years, speaking at public comment nearly at every meeting until recently. She was a champion for our seniors and the long-serving chairman of the Senior Affairs Commission. So condolences to her family and her circle of friends up at the New London Senior Center. I have a number of employee milestones. Nicholas Friday, firefighter, firefighter Louis Raycott, and firefighter Timothy Joseph, and police investigator Roland Denoyers have all reached their 5th anniversary of serving our city. I have 2 retirements, Fire Lieutenant Stephen Wargo after 28 years of service, and Judy Cox, our Housing and Community Outreach Coordinator after 34 years of service. So we thank them all for their service to our city. Oh, and really, actually, probably the most significant one is Chief Brian Wright has reached his 30th anniversary with the New London Police Department. So congratulations to him as well. I'm going to review very quickly the hiring status of our police and our fire departments. Starting with the fire department, we are currently hiring in the hiring process for 4 non-certified firefighter candidates. They've been selected and they will begin a 15-week recruit firefighter class at the State Fire Academy in February. So we look forward to having those firefighters join the force when they successfully complete the fire academy. We also have 1 certified firefighter who currently has all his requirements, is an EMT, and he will be joining the fire department in early February, going directly on to the line of duty. The hiring process will continue. Right now, there's a certified firefighter posting that closes on January 13th with a testing process that will be conducted on January 24th. So there's still time to apply. If you know, or any certified firefighters reach out to you. Also, there will be some promotions coming up. 2 lieutenants, 2 firefighters to the position of lieutenant because of vacancies that have been created. Now, the police department, as you know, Chief Wright has prioritized and has been very proactive in his efforts to recruit and hire new police officers. And he's happy to report that 1 candidate is graduating from the police academy this coming Wednesday. So he'll start his field training period. And he has another candidate set to graduate in March. And currently he has 5 potential entry-level candidates in the process, along with 3 candidates for lateral hire. Lateral hire is already certified police officers that are moving from other departments to our department. So certainly these recruitment efforts are starting to pay off. Right now, there is, at latest count, the full-time law enforcement employees at the department are 65. So even with all of those efforts, we're still not quite getting to the numbers that we want. but we're holding our own, and things seem to be turning in our direction. So I'll end there. Happy to answer any questions about anything going on in the city that you're interested in hearing about.
Don't have a question, Mayor, but I do have a comment about Karen Paul. I remember, just a quick story, when I first started, my first term back in 2013, I was public welfare, and I was the liaison for the senior center. And she was at every meeting, every single meeting, not there, here at city council for years. So I know that she invested a lot in the city, her time, and, you know, she'll be missed. I mean, she is, was like a pillar. I mean, it didn't matter if it was raining, snowing, she was here. So she'll be missed by her family and also, you know, by myself, I recall. Really, I also remember she kept me on my heels that first year with the questions and the emails and the calls, and she'll come up here that day, because we had a meeting, just to remind me, and not only me, but all of us. So again, it's great to have people like that that really care about the city and really want to see things happening. So anyway, that's all I have. Thank you, Mayor. Let me go to City President Pro Tem Kilpack.
Thank you, President Dominguez. Yeah, I just want to echo that statement you made about Karen Paul. Good, bad, or indifferent, she always came out and voiced her opinion, and she fought very hard for our seniors, and I like to see that. I know that the seniors will miss her, but that just shows you how short time is, and that we need to value the time that we have and be positive. With that being said, I just want to bring the attention, Mayor, that yesterday's event was very well received at the Dominican Association for Three Kings Day. That was always a fun event that I haven't missed since being a counselor, and it's always good to see the smiles on the kids' faces. So I just wanted to give a thanks to the Dominican Association for their continued support to the community, and for putting together, because I know it looked like a lot of work because they had a lot of toys. Looks like a lot of work. So just thankful for them for always being there in the community and helping those out. So thank you again.
Yep. And just to comment on that, I know that the Three Kings this year were the mayor, Chief Wright, and State Rep Anthony Nolan. They were the Three Kings. And I think Tony went in there. Tony Sheridan went in there in a little while. So it was great. It was great seeing them. All right, Councilor Rosario, go ahead.
Thank you, President Dominguez. In the name of the Dominican Association, we want to really thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Akil Peck. Thank you, President Dominguez. And Rihanna always being in there. Unfortunately, she couldn't make it. And Jeffrey, but I know in their heart, they would like to be there next time. One thing that I want to share with you guys is how proud I am to see this event growing every year. And this year we have other associations that collaborate with us, and to give you around the number around the kids that went with toys home like happy, we got more than 900 kids. So it's amazing. And I really will put all my effort to keep going, but it wouldn't be successfully without you guys. And also, I will share with you what the Dominican Association said. They are really honored to have you there, and I hope that you can continue assisting to this event. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Councilor Rosario. It was fun. Had a good time. All right, with that said, thank you, Mayor Passero.
You know,
Or unless you want to add something else, go ahead, sir.
well, yeah, I should have mentioned this, but you have a flyer on your desks for a town hall that we'll be having next January, a week from Wednesday, I believe, January 15th, 5:30 to 7 p.m. at the Haitian Hub up here at 60 Huntington Street. and Attorney General William Tong will be here. There'll be a panel discussion with the Attorney General, myself, Cynthia Ritchie, Chief Wright, and Rachel Doft from IRIS, and we'll be discussing supports for our immigrant community in the coming year.
Sounds great. Thank you, Mayor. All those councilors that have websites, see if you could post this up on your city council website, if you want to. All right, with that, we'll move on, okay? Let's have President Pro Tem consent agenda.
Thank you, President Dominguez. Consent agenda. The consent agenda proposed set forth at the regular meeting January 6, 2025 are either accepted for the record, referred to the committee, name waived by committee to be acted upon as proposed, or 4 consented to as proposed. Thank you.
All right, you guys know the drill. I'm gonna call them out, read the items. If you wanna, you pull one if you do so, choose to. All right, 7.1A, B, C, D. All right, 8.0, new business, 8.1, 8.2.
Pull 8.2.
8.2, President Pro Tem. Okay. All right. There are no appointments, no executive session. With that, it goes back to you, President Pro Tem.
Thank you, President Dominguez. All items have the unanimous support of the City Council, are hereby adopted with a single roll call vote. All motions are seconded. The chair calls roll call, and all chair declares the motion to be unanimously voted on and adopted. Thank you.
All right.
Move the
City
cam.
Clerk, yep, City Clerk Jonathan Lojano, go ahead, sir.
That's right.
President Pro Tem Peck.
Yes.
President Dominguez.
Yes.
Councilor Dice.
Yes.
Councilor Hart.
Yes.
Councilor Rosario.
Yes.
You have 5 yes.
Thank you so much. With that, we'll begin. Councilors, remember, if you pulled, make sure you move to cam and then wait for that second to begin. Go ahead, President Pro Tem, you have the floor. 8.2, gasoline contract.
Thank you, sir. Move the cam.
Second.
All right, I guess I asked this question to the mayor. Just have some questions about the gasoline contract, if you can elaborate on that, please. Yeah, I think Finance Director. All right.
You want the Finance Director?
Yes,
The one
please.
that's- All right, Mr.
Yeah, just some background. Every year, we go out as the purchasing agent, summarize the memo. We go out to bid for the year's worth of supply for the gasoline. The last page of your package has the various vendors that are on the listing of, that we go out and get quotes from. In a nutshell, the city estimates about $65,000 gallons of gasoline are purchased or utilized throughout the year. This contract will be for the purchase of $65,000 at the price of which it will be tomorrow if this is approved. As of this memo, the price that the purchasing agent provided was, the price was $2.34 a gallon. As of today, today's price was $2.43, which is 55 cents approximately less than what the current rate is that you or I would pay. So it's about a little over 22% discount from what you would pay at the pump. It comes out to about $160,000 a year that this contract will be for. And it's based upon tomorrow's price. So assuming it's around today's price, we move forward and solicit a contract for the gallons for the next 12 months. And the current price is, it's about a $12,000 reduction from last year's contracted price.
I pulled this cam so that we can inform the residents so that they can go back and hear, because I know people are very, concerned about our city's budget, and saving the taxpayers' money and being, good stewards with our money. So I just pulled this cam just so that you can explain it. But I just have a question, and maybe those might want to hear this, is that what if the price drops dramatically again? Is there a way that we can go back and renegotiate this, or we're just locked in and it is what it is?
We're locking into this price. It's a future contract price for the entire amount for the 12 months.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
We save money, right? Director
Yes.
McBride?
Yes.
Compared from last year to this year?
Yes, it's about a $12,000 reduction from last year's contract.
$12,000.
Yes.
That's good. That's good. All right. All right. Sounds good. Any other councilors before we vote on this? All right. Sounds good, everyone. So let's vote on this. CAM, which is 8.2 gasoline contract. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed say nay. Okay, the motion carries. One more.
I'd like to make a motion to close, adjourn this meeting.
All right.
Second.
Been seconded. All right. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed say nay. The motion carries. This meeting is over at 7:45 PM. Have a good night, safe travels, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.